The vast cornfields of America, once promised to yield a bumper crop, are now facing a heartbreaking reality. Farmers are suffering losses despite record-breaking harvests. While President Trump vowed to protect farmers and uphold the nation's economy, a major new bill is about to take effect, bringing sweeping changes that farmers could never have imagined. But what is truly behind this once promising harvest turning into a financial disaster? Rising tariffs, escalating production costs, and struggles to access international markets are pushing millions of farmers into heavy losses. Trump's policies have sparked waves of tension in the economy as global markets gradually turn their backs on American agricultural products. Specifically, corn, once a symbol of success in American farming, is now a testament to the harsh reality of an industry being crushed by policies that make things harder. Farmers are facing difficulties they never anticipated. Do you agree with the struggles American farmers are facing? If you do, leave a 1 in the comments. If not, feel free to leave a 0. Don't forget to like, share, and hit subscribe to support our channel. Now let's dive into the story. In recent years, American agriculture has faced significant challenges, and the current situation is no exception. Despite a bumper harvest this year, this does not equate to prosperity for American farmers. On the contrary, many are facing massive losses, a heartbreaking paradox in the agricultural industry. According to the latest reports, cotton farmers are losing about $375 per acre, corn farmers are losing $220 per acre, and soybean farmers are losing $120 per acre. These are enormous figures when calculating the total cultivated area nationwide. This means that despite farmers harvesting large amounts of crops, they cannot recover enough to cover production costs, tariffs, and transportation expenses. These losses are further compounded by lower than expected crop prices, while costs continue to rise. Particularly, these losses have increased markedly in recent seasons, with farmers not only facing higher production costs but also dealing with a market severely impacted by the tariff policies of the Trump administration. This has meant that farmers could not capitalize on the advantage of a bumper crop season, instead facing a significant decline in profits. Many outside the agricultural industry might think that a bumper harvest would lead to prosperity for farmers, but the reality is completely different. When production costs, tariffs, and external factors affect the value of agricultural products, even a good harvest cannot save farmers' financial situation. Farmers not only face rising input costs, but also struggle with maintaining stable product values. When there's a bumper crop but it cannot be sold at a reasonable price, or when the costs of transportation, distribution, and consumption exceed profits, it creates a paradox. Farmers face difficulties not just economically, but emotionally, as they watch their hard work go unrewarded. One of the major problems farmers are facing is the increased tariffs on imported goods. The tariff policies of the government have seriously affected their ability to access international markets, reducing their export capabilities and pushing product values lower. Additionally, production costs continue to climb, from the costs of fertilizers, seeds, labor, to equipment maintenance. Many farmers are now grappling with massive loans from banks and financial institutions just to keep their operations running. However, with losses at their current levels, they are unable to repay their debts on time, creating a serious cycle of debt. This has led many farmers to sell land and assets to survive, or even leave the profession, causing the American agricultural industry to lose a significant amount of skilled labor. The story of American farmers in this bumper crop season is a profound lesson about the hardships that industries face in the context of an increasingly volatile global economy. While there are many advantages, such as the ability to produce abundant crops, external factors like tariff policies, rising production costs, and supply chain disruptions can significantly reduce profits. This not only impacts farmers, but also has a major effect on the American economy. Agriculture is one of the key industries, playing a crucial role in maintaining food price stability and providing jobs for millions of people. When this industry struggles, the negative effects ripple out to other sectors, particularly services and manufacturing. To avoid repeating these paradoxes in the future, the U.S. government needs to implement practical support measures for farmers, not only in reducing taxes, but also in creating policies that help farmers access international markets more easily. Additionally, financial support programs are needed to help farmers overcome temporary financial hardships, especially in years affected by weather and tariffs. Although a bumper harvest may not bring the profits expected, these challenges will drive improvements in farming methods, helping the American agricultural industry become more flexible and sustainable in the future. In recent years, China's tariff policies on U.S. agricultural products have had a clear and negative impact, particularly on items like soybeans, corn, and wheat. These tariff measures have not only weakened the export capacity of the U.S., but also triggered a strong reaction across the entire agricultural sector. China, as one of the largest trading partners of the U.S., decided to impose tariffs on U.S. agricultural goods as part of the ongoing trade war between the two countries. Soybeans, a major export product of the U.S., have been hit hard. China's imposition of a 25% tariff on U.S. soybeans caused a significant drop in export value. U.S. farmers, particularly those growing soybeans, have faced a backlog of unsold goods, forcing them to lower prices, which resulted in massive losses. China's retaliatory tariffs have caused significant damage not only to American farmers, but also to the rural economy at large. While soybean, corn, and wheat farmers have experienced sharp declines in revenue, businesses providing services and supplies to the agricultural industry have also been affected, with a sharp drop in demand and many orders being canceled or delayed. A prime example is China's substitution of U.S. soybeans with supplies from Brazil, a major competitor in the soybean export industry. This shift has not only reduced export revenue, but also caused U.S. farmers to lose a traditional market, a market worth billions of dollars. This added financial burden has forced farmers to look for alternative markets, but success has been far from guaranteed. According to figures from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, soybean exports in 2020 plummeted by about 20% compared to the previous year, equating to a loss of over $3 billion in revenue from soybean sales to China. Corn and wheat, two other key U.S. agricultural products, were also severely impacted. Exports of corn to China decreased by about 15%, while wheat exports fell by 10%. Although other markets have made efforts to make up for the shortfall from China, finding replacement partners has been difficult due to fierce competition and other trade barriers. This situation has led to an increase in domestic agricultural stockpiles, causing the value of these products to fall sharply, creating a vicious cycle that further burdens farmers. As crop prices drop, production costs remain unchanged, delivering a huge shock to farmers already struggling with rising costs. The financial impact of tariff policies does not only affect those farmers with products directly targeted by tariffs, but also reverberates throughout the entire rural economy. Farmers are facing large losses due to the decline in exports, but they are also struggling with increasing production costs and debt. A drop in revenue means they are unable to pay back loans from banks, leading to the potential loss of land or assets. Furthermore, the rural U.S. economy faces job losses and a downturn in supporting industries, ranging from transportation services and equipment maintenance to agricultural processing companies. When agricultural products cannot be consumed, processing plants reduce production, causing unemployment for many rural workers. This creates a ripple effect in rural communities, further straining the region's economy. Amid the ongoing global economic turbulence, the U.S. agricultural sector has not been immune to the mounting related to production costs. One of the biggest pressures on farmers is the sharp increase in the cost of fertilizers, agricultural loan interest rates, and other production-related expenses. These factors not only reduce profits, but also create major obstacles for maintaining farm operations. Over the past year, fertilizer prices have surged due to the impact of trade wars, supply chain disruptions, and rising raw material costs. Farmers growing cotton, corn, and other crops are paying significantly higher prices for fertilizers, a key element in ensuring crop yield. Fertilizer prices have increased by 30% to 50%, depending on the type, forcing farmers to spend large amounts of money just to maintain production. In addition to fertilizers, costs for other essential inputs like seeds, pesticides, and farming supplies have also risen steadily. This increase in total production costs means that many farmers cannot achieve the desired profit margins even with a bumper crop. As these costs continue to rise, maintaining profitability becomes a significant challenge, especially when export values are reduced due to tariffs and other market factors. Moreover, interest rates on agricultural loans are also climbing as banks adjust their financial policies amid the economy's post-pandemic recovery signs. Bank loans are widely used in agriculture to support production activities, but as interest rates rise, the cost of borrowing increases, reducing farms' profit margins. The high costs have a far-reaching impact on farmers' profits. When production costs increase, farmers are unable to maintain stable product prices, particularly when the market is unfavorable or when importing countries apply tariffs or trade restrictions. While farmers may try to adjust part of their production costs by cutting back on unnecessary expenses, basic costs like fertilizers and labor cannot be reduced too much without affecting yield and product quality. Therefore, even with increased output, profits still fail to meet expectations if production costs rise too quickly. This paradox is what American farmers are facing. Although they can harvest more, high production costs prevent them from maintaining prosperity from their crops. This makes it difficult for farmers to reinvest in their operations, reducing their competitiveness in the future. While farmers may implement cost-saving measures to maintain production, doing so is becoming increasingly difficult. The rise in production costs is eroding farm margins, forcing farmers to confront the risk of not having enough financial resources to sustain operations in the long run. This situation is further exacerbated by external factors such as adverse weather, disease outbreaks, or supply chain disruptions, which continue to pose unpredictable risks. Farmers are faced with difficult decisions. Should they continue producing at these high costs, or stop to minimize losses? Maintaining production has become more stressful than ever, especially when costs cannot be cut while income remains unstable. With high loan interest rates, farmers face an increasing financial risk as they borrow money to sustain production. Agricultural loans are an essential source of financing for crop cultivation, livestock farming, and expanding farm size. However, as interest rates rise, these loans become a financial burden on farmers, forcing them to pay higher interest rates and increasing the risk of default. Many farmers are now feeling the consequences of borrowing during periods of low interest rates. However, with the economy showing signs of recovery, the rise in interest rates has increased the financial cost of both old and new loans. This creates significant pressure on farm finances, increasing the likelihood of bankruptcy or the loss of land. If you agree with the challenges that American farmers are facing, leave a number 1 in the comments. If you disagree, don't hesitate to leave a number 0. Don't forget to like, share, and hit subscribe to support our channel. And now, let's continue following the developments ahead. In recent years, U.S. agriculture has faced increasingly fierce competition from other countries, particularly from South American agricultural powerhouses like Brazil and Argentina. These countries have not only maintained their positions, but have also risen strongly, capitalizing on the mistakes in U.S. trade policies to dominate the international market. Brazil, in particular, has become one of the strongest competitors for the U.S. in the grain export industry, especially for soybeans and corn. While the U.S. used to lead the world in soybean exports, Brazil has now overtaken the U.S. and become the largest soybean exporter globally. Argentina also plays a significant role in this market, particularly in exporting soybean oil and large volumes of corn. The main reason why Brazil and Argentina have managed to surpass the U.S. in the agricultural sector is due to their optimization of infrastructure and production strategies, as well as their ability to leverage government trade policies and incentives to reduce production costs. Meanwhile, U.S. trade policies, particularly the decision to raise tariffs and cut agricultural subsidy programs, have created major difficulties for American farmers, making it impossible for them to maintain a competitive edge. One of the primary reasons Brazil and Argentina have been able to surpass the U.S. in the grain race is that they capitalized on the mistakes in U.S. trade policies. The Trump administration's tariff policies created an unfavorable environment for American farmers, especially for export crops like soybeans, corn, and wheat. In contrast, Brazil and Argentina took advantage of these opportunities to increase their market share in international markets, including China, one of the most important markets for agricultural products. The imposition of tariffs on U.S. soybeans forced China to seek alternative sources, and Brazil quickly seized this opportunity. Brazil not only increased production but also improved its transportation infrastructure, helping to reduce costs and enhance its competitiveness. Argentina, with lower production costs and strong agricultural support policies from the government, also seized these opportunities to boost its exports, particularly in soybean oil. Brazil and Argentina have made strategic moves to enhance their agricultural production and infrastructure. Brazil, for example, has heavily invested in agricultural technology and improved productivity through the adoption of advanced farming methods, boosting yields per acre. At the same time, Brazil has developed large-scale transportation projects, such as railways and seaports, to help reduce transportation costs and increase export capacity. Argentina has also been proactive in developing its agricultural sector. The Argentine government has launched programs to encourage farmers to expand production, while also supporting improvements to the agricultural infrastructure, enabling farmers to access better resources and optimize production costs. Another factor that has helped Brazil and Argentina gain an edge is their ability to keep production costs low, thanks to favorable land and climate conditions. With lower production costs compared to the U.S., these two countries can produce agricultural goods at a cheaper price, allowing them to sell in international markets at competitive prices. The reduction in the price of agricultural products from Brazil and Argentina has had a significant impact on U.S. farmers. While American farmers face higher production costs, they cannot compete on price with South American products. This has not only caused U.S. farmers to lose important export markets, but also pushed them into a severe loss situation, as they cannot sell their products at profitable prices. One of the direct consequences of the lower prices of South American products is the decrease in the value of U.S. soybeans and corn on the global market. When Brazil and Argentina offer products at lower prices, international customers, especially China, easily shift to buying from these competitors instead of continuing to import from the U.S. This not only causes American farmers to lose markets, but also reduces the value of domestic products, making it even harder for farmers to maintain profits. Agriculture has long been a cornerstone of the U.S. rural economy, providing not only food, but also creating millions of jobs for the community. However, the challenges in production, particularly the rising costs, tariff policies, and competition from countries like Brazil and Argentina, are causing severe consequences for the rural economy. While farmers bear significant losses, other industries and the entire regional economy are also affected. As income from agricultural products declines, the rural economy suffers not only direct losses, but also faces a decline in other sectors closely linked to agriculture. Industries such as transportation, food processing, and agricultural-related services are all facing a substantial decrease in demand. Farmers, unable to harvest enough to sell on the market, or unable to compete on price, will no longer be able to spend on local services and products as before. This results in a reduction in revenue from taxes and economic activity in rural communities, diminishing development levels and economic opportunities in the area. When the primary income source from agricultural products drops, transportation companies lose out on shipping contracts, food processing plants reduce production, and services like seed supply and agricultural equipment are also affected. The rural economy is witnessing severe decline due to external factors, ranging from tariffs to international competition. Local businesses are facing fewer customers as farmers cannot spend as much on goods and services. Agricultural supply stores, food processing plants, and other support services are forced to downsize or even shut down. This decline affects not only small businesses but also reduces job opportunities for thousands of rural workers. As businesses are forced to reduce their size or cease operations, a vicious cycle of unemployment and reduced income emerges. Workers in agriculture or related industries can no longer maintain stable livelihoods, leading to increased poverty and difficulties in sustaining living standards for rural families. The rural economy depends not only on agriculture, but also on support industries such as transportation, crop processing, and community services. When agriculture faces difficulties, employment in these sectors is heavily impacted. Agricultural transport companies have to reduce contracts or halt operations, while food processing plants face declines in orders and production. Support services for farmers, such as providing seeds, pesticides, and farming equipment, are also severely affected. As a result, thousands of workers in these supporting industries will lose their jobs, triggering a chain reaction in rural communities. The decline in employment will reduce the income of residents, making the local economy even more challenging. One of the most significant consequences of the economic downturn in rural areas is the reduction in budgets for essential public services, such as education, healthcare, and other basic services. When people's income falls and tax revenue decreases, local governments no longer have enough resources to maintain these public services. Budget cuts lead to shortages in essential infrastructure, from schools to hospitals, and essential services such as public transport and social services. Schools may have to reduce the number of teachers or teaching programs, while hospitals and clinics may face staff and resource shortages. This not only lowers the quality of life for residents, but also severely impacts the long-term development of rural communities. The U.S. agricultural industry is facing numerous challenges amid global economic volatility. However, this also presents an ideal opportunity to implement significant reforms, shift development strategies, and pursue new opportunities. To sustain and grow American agriculture, reforms and innovations are essential, particularly in diversifying export markets and applying advanced technology in production. One of the biggest challenges American agriculture faces is its dependency on a few traditional export markets, especially China. However, recent political shifts and tariff policies have clearly shown that without a diversified export strategy, U.S. agriculture faces significant risks when these major markets encounter difficulties. Therefore, reforming and changing export strategies is critical to ensure long-term stability and growth for the industry. Diversifying export markets is an effective solution to reduce reliance on traditional trading partners. Emerging regions such as India, Africa, and Southeast Asia are becoming promising markets for U.S. agricultural products. With large populations and growing food consumption needs, these markets present significant opportunities for U.S. producers. Strengthening exports to these regions not only reduces risks, but also opens new opportunities for the development of uniquely American products like soybeans, corn, beef, and wheat. In addition to seeking new markets, the U.S. agricultural sector must also implement reforms in support policies and sustainable development. The government needs to focus on investing in programs that support farmers, encouraging them to transition to more sustainable production methods that allow them to maintain and expand production without compromising environmental quality. Technology is increasingly playing a crucial role in the development of agriculture, and the U.S. needs to harness its full potential to improve productivity and reduce production costs. One of the most promising technological applications in agriculture is the development of drought-resistant crops. In the context of climate change and water resource challenges, drought-resistant crops can help enhance resilience to dry conditions, reduce dependence on irrigation, and protect yields. Additionally, artificial intelligence, AI, in crop management is opening up many significant opportunities for agriculture. AI can help farmers monitor and analyze data on crop health, soil, and environmental conditions to make timely and precise decisions. Using AI to predict pest outbreaks, optimize the use of fertilizers, water, and pesticides will help reduce production costs and enhance labor efficiency. Technology can also improve traceability and safeguard product quality, which is especially important in the context of international markets that demand high standards of food safety and agricultural quality. Technological applications enable farmers to monitor and control production processes from planting to harvest, helping produce high-quality products that meet stringent international market requirements. One major issue in current agricultural production is inefficient fertilizer use. Fertilizer costs are rising, and if not used effectively, they will increase production costs and negatively impact the environment. However, adopting advanced technologies in fertilizer use can help reduce costs, improve efficiency, and minimize environmental impacts. Methods like smart fertilizers, Using sensors and intelligent management systems to apply fertilizers accurately according to crop needs will help reduce waste and save costs. Additionally, using organic fertilizers and biological solutions is a sustainable path that improves soil quality and preserves the health of the agricultural environment. More efficient fertilizer use not only helps lower costs, but also helps protect water sources and reduce environmental pollution, leading to long-term benefits for agriculture and the community. The adoption of these technologies will enable the U.S. agricultural industry to maintain productivity while minimizing the environmental impact of crop production. The U.S. agricultural industry has been facing a range of significant challenges in recent years, from rising production costs and trade tariffs from partner countries to fierce competition from other agricultural powerhouses like Brazil and Argentina. These factors have not only reduced farmers' profits, but have also created difficulties in maintaining America's position in the global agricultural market. However, these challenges also present an opportunity for U.S. agriculture to undertake the necessary reforms and shift strategies to preserve its status as an agricultural superpower in the future. So the question is, can the U.S. recover and maintain its standing in agriculture? The answer lies in the ability to adapt to new changes, including reforming agricultural policies, diversifying export markets, and embracing advanced technology in production. Without these changes, the U.S. may lose its competitive edge while other countries continue to dominate international markets. The future of U.S. agriculture depends on the willingness to change and reform. Farmers, the government, and communities need to work closely together to create a more sustainable and efficient agricultural environment. What do you think about the future of U.S. agriculture? Can we overcome these challenges to maintain our position as an agricultural superpower? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share this video to help the channel grow and continue bringing valuable insights on agriculture and critical economic issues. Let's support the development of U.S. agriculture together in the future.